So here we are at session 4. As I promised you, first and foremost, welcome back to The Absolute Truth. Today we're going to cover 4 different exercises for your chest. Now again, the whole point of this series of videos that we're doing is to give you your own plan to work out in any gym safely as long as you follow what we've made available to you here. Again, you can hire a personal trainer and that might satisfy you for a while, but bear in mind that 90+% of all trainers that are out there have no background, no education. They've been trained maybe for a period of 3 to 6 weeks, so they don't know really what they're doing. I've been in the industry now for 40+ years. My education is in physiology as well as exercise science. So you can't go wrong, and as you saw in the beginning, in the introduction, those shots of the bodybuilder is me. That was when I was still competing as a bodybuilder. I was a world champion bodybuilder, so I know what I'm doing. And I want to pass this information on to you so that you have the best information to draw from, so that you don't get injured in the gym. So the first exercise that we're going to do is called an incline chest press. Now this is a Smith rack that I'm on, and any gym you're in is going to have a Smith rack. So here we go. What's most important about this exercise is make certain that your chest, right here, the sternum, is directly under the bar. Because when you come down, you want that bar to rest on your sternum and then all the way back up. Your repetitions can be as little as 6 with a heavier weight, as many as 20 with a lighter weight. Now if you're above the age of 50, then you want your repetitions to be anywhere from 12 to 20 repetitions. And why is that important? Because I'm 60 years old and I don't use the heavy weights that I used back in the early days of my bodybuilding career. As a bodybuilder, I was one of the biggest and strongest ever in the world. And I moved huge amounts of weight. And that's something you can do when you're in your 20s. But once you hit your 30s and your 40s, you're going to start reducing that weight, increasing your repetitions, so that your muscle has the kind of longevity that it needs. So today, I don't do 405 pounds on the bench press for 4 to 6 repetitions. Instead, I do 120 for 20 repetitions. That serves me better, it's better for my muscles, and it prevents me from having injury by using too much weight. So I'll see you at the next exercise. Okay, so here we are at the seated chest press. Any gym you walk into is going to have a seated chest press. Now, it may not be an Icarian, it might be a Body Master, it might be a Flex, but either way, they're going to have a seated chest press because it's a very popular piece of equipment and it's safe. More and more gyms are getting away from the free weights because of the liability involved. So more and more are going to machines, and that is not such a good idea, but again, I understand from the standpoint of the gym, it's a liability to have free weights in the gym. So I'm going to show you how this one goes. I've got a footrest here that helps me push the weight out so I can get my hands where I want them. I want this to hit high up on my chest, and I'm going to come all the way out. Always come back as far as you possibly can. Push out until your elbows lock. And again, this is for the bottom part of your chest, which is called the pectoralis major. What we did over on the last exercise, the incline, we worked mostly the upper part, which is called the pectoralis minor, which is really hard to get. That's why we use an incline. I'll see you at the next exercise. Okay, so here we are at the third exercise. This is a seated fly machine. Now again, because this is a popular piece of equipment, you're going to see this in any gym you walk into, whether it's 24-Hour Fitness or LA Fitness or Texas Family Fitness here in Texas, or Anytime Fitness, which I think is pretty much coast to coast. You're going to see this piece of equipment. It's a great piece. Always when you start this piece, you advance with one arm first. Don't do both arms at the same time because it could potentially injure your shoulders. Once you're in place, you want to make sure as you come back, your hands are parallel to your shoulders. Now if the hands are down here, you're sitting up too high. If the hands are up here, you're sitting down too low. that could affect the way the exercise works. So I'm going to bring this forward first, bring this forward second, and I'm going to do just a few repetitions so you can see. Now you can use the backrest if you want. I prefer to actually lean forward because it takes some of the stress off my shoulders. And as I've indicated to you before, my shoulders are pretty much wrecked from all the years that I was competing as a professional bodybuilder. That happens with athletes. Body parts start to wear out, joints begin to wear out, so we have to compensate for that. We got one more exercise, so I'll see you there in a moment. Okay, so here we are at the last exercise. This is a low incline dumbbell fly. Now it's amazing, I have 10-pound dumbbells in my hand, but I do go a little bit heavier than this, but not much. But there was a time when I did this with 150-pound dumbbells. But remember, I was younger, stronger, and more able. Now that I'm 60, my body is wearing down. My body's getting itself ready to die. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but hopefully not soon. So I'm going to come back, bring the dumbbells straight up. This is a fly, so this is not a press like this, but it's a fly like this. So I come real wide, all the way back up, real wide again, all the way back up. If you can, it's always good to hold it and then bring it back up. Come down, hold it, bring it back up. And then when you're done, just drop them into your lap. And that's our last exercise. I'll see you in a moment for our close. So here we are, we're at the end, and I want to again thank you for joining us for all these sessions. Now, the next session that you see, as I promised, we're going to do a session with an individual who has multiple sclerosis. I have worked with the handicap now for 30 plus years, and handicap, as well as able-bodied people, also need to work out on a regular basis. And so we're going to interrupt our series to show you a few different people. One person who's had a stroke, and of course next week is Cheryl, who has multiple sclerosis. The reason this is important, because again, people that are disabled oftentimes are not just physically disabled, they end up disabling themselves mentally because they're under the impression that they can't work out in a gym. But for the longest time, even in the earliest days of my bodybuilding career, when I was 16 years old, I used to visit the original Gold's Gym, and I was amazed at how many people were there in wheelchairs working out on their own. They didn't have an instructor, they didn't have a private trainer, they were doing it on their own. And that really, really impressed me. So I'm hoping as you see these individuals that not only will you be impressed, but you will get the word out to your friends and family who may be suffering an affliction or an injury that has left them disabled. Because again, as I've said before, there are a great many wonderful athletes who are lifted up by our community, by our country people, and rightfully so, because they're talented, their ability to perform as an athlete is better, obviously, than the average person. But while they are heroes, these are the unsung heroes who defy the condition that they're left with and seek to find a recovery by doing whatever is possible. And as I've said before, the impossible becomes possible when you do that which is possible. So I hope you'll join us for our fifth session when you'll meet Cheryl, who's had multiple sclerosis for about 20 years. It's a great story, it's a great video, and I think you'll be inspired by it. As always, I thank you for watching and joining us. Remember, a body moving is a body improving. So thank you again. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.